October 1st, 2013. Glen Park Library, San Francisco. A lone figure is working on his laptop. A sudden heated argument erupts behind him. As he turns to see what was causing the commotion, a hand flashes out and snatches the computer right off the table. Before he could react to the loss of his laptop, the people who had been arguing now seize him and pin him against the window. They are FBI agents. The man currently pinned to the window is Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road, dark web's most notorious illegal marketplace. In 2011, while he was staying at a rental cabin in Austin, Ross Ulbricht launched Silk Road. For months he had been working on writing the code and growing 100 pounds of psychedelic mushrooms, which he planned to sell as a product on his website. At first, the website didn't get much traction. Ross was the programmer, the admin, and the only vendor. He went to underground forums, pretending to be a curious bystander. He writes, "Has anyone checked out this site called Silk Road?" It worked. Word began to spread. A few sales here, a few Bitcoin there. Then came June 1st, 2011. Gawker posted an article titled "The Underground Website Where You Can Buy Any Drug Imaginable," which hit the internet like a lightning bolt. And suddenly, Silk Road wasn't a niche experiment anymore. It was a global phenomenon. The Gawker article sent the Silk Road's traffic into the stratosphere. Ross Ulbricht, known until then as Dread Pirate Roberts, sat at the throne of a dark web empire where you could buy anything imaginable. High-grade drugs, keyloggers, leaked data, fake IDs, black market electronics. The platform mirrored legitimate e-commerce. It had a robust review system and an escrow service that protected buyers from bunk products or laced shipments. Financial anonymity was maintained through Bitcoin mixing services. Vendors employed stealth shipping techniques. They vacuum sealed the products so sniffer dogs couldn't find them and used decoy packaging, DVD cases, or hollowed out books. It was so efficient, people started calling it the Amazon of the dark web. The Silk Road charged 8 to 15% in commissions. By the end of this saga, Ross Ulbricht had collected over 600,000 bitcoins in commissions. And when you build a billion-dollar criminal enterprise, you don't just attract customers, you attract the feds. Aware of the increasing risks, Ulbricht adopted a nomadic lifestyle to evade detection. He traveled to Dominica and visited his sister in Australia while maintaining the site from coffee shops and libraries. Eventually, he settled in San Francisco under the alias Joshua Terry, living in a shared house with roommates who knew nothing of his digital empire. The feds were dead set on unmasking Dread Pirate Roberts. The whole investigation into Silk Road was a joint task force of the FBI, Homeland Security, IRS, and DEA. It was a digital needle in a haystack. But there's the major key moment, the real plot twist. An IRS agent named Gary Alford was digging through old Bitcoin forums where he found an ancient post from the user Altoid promoting the Silk Road. This was the first ever mention of the darknet website. And then the same account was found posting about recruiting, which said, "I'm looking for an IT pro in the Bitcoin community to hire in connection with a venture-backed Bitcoin startup company. This is a chance to get in on the ground floor and earn a significant amount of equity in the company." And then on the contact, he posted his main Gmail account, the one with his name on it. The feds had this handed to them in a silver platter. They were about to put two and two together, the first post promoting Silk Road, and then this post with his actual name on the contact. Meanwhile, the DHS was already on the case because they intercepted a package of fake IDs going to a San Francisco address. Guess who lived there under the alias Joshua Terry? Ross Ulbricht. They started surveillance on him. They were on his tail everywhere he went, cafes, libraries. They were waiting for the perfect moment to snag his laptop while it was open and unencrypted. But wait, there's a whole other unhinged layer to this story, the murder for hire stuff. Prosecutors basically claimed that as the pressure was maxing out, Ross tried to commission hits on people who were threatening his empire. The most bonkers part, he was negotiating one of these alleged hits with someone he thought was a high-level enforcer, but it was actually an undercover federal agent. Talk about a bet that didn't pay off. This whole element, the attempted violence, completely flipped the narrative. Suddenly, he wasn't just a libertarian fighting for a decentralized market. The government was painting him as a sociopath willing to slay anyone who messed with his cash flow. Even though the murder-for-hire charges were a side quest to the main trial, that evidence was presented during the trial, and it was a major factor in the judge's final decision. So, after the dramatic library takedown, the trial was on. The prosecution was loaded with evidence because they got everything off that unencrypted laptop, private journals, spreadsheets of earnings, and chat logs for days. The defense had this whole fool guy argument, claiming he made the site but handed it off, only to be lured back right before the raid. That didn't fly with the jury. The jury took like 2 hours. In 2015, Ulbricht was found guilty on everything: narco-trafficking, money laundering, you name it. The government wanted to make a hard statement with the first dark web kingpin, and they didn't hold back. Then came the sentencing, which caused a major debate for the years to come. Judge Catherine Forrest gave 31-year-old Ross 2 life terms plus 40 years without parole. That is a sentence that is wildly disproportionate, harsher than what some actual violent cartel bosses get. She basically said, Silk Road was socially destructive, and this sentence was the example to be set to scare off anyone who tries to follow this path. Sentenced to 2 life terms plus 40 years without the possibility of parole, Ross's punishment was unprecedented for a non-violent first-time offender. Inside the high-security walls of USP Tucson, he didn't let his mind wither. He spent his days teaching physics and math to other inmates, writing about the philosophy of freedom, and maintaining a digital connection to a world that was rapidly passing him by. Outside, the Free Ross movement became more than just a legal defense. It became a global symbol for justice reform. Led by his tireless mother, Lynn Ulbricht, the movement gathered over 500,000 signatures. They argued that Ross was a scapegoat for the digital age, a man whose sentence was designed to send a message rather than serve justice. For over a decade, the hope for a pardon seemed like a distant dream. That changed in January 2025. Fulfilling a high-profile campaign promise, President Trump issued a full, unconditional pardon for Ross Ulbricht. After 4,130 days of incarceration, the gates finally opened. Ross emerged into the Arizona sun not with bitterness, but with a message of gratitude. He returned to a world of Bitcoin and decentralization that he helped spark, but one where he was finally a free man. Today, Ross is back with his family, proving that even the longest road can eventually lead home. The Silk Road is a chapter of history, but Ross Ulbricht's second chance has only just begun.